All right, here we go. We're going to dive into how to do a multicam sequence. Really simple once you get used to it, but it is a little bit of a different way of thinking. First things first, we're going to need to figure out what devices we use to record the ceremony in this particular case. So we normally use 3 cameras for the whole day, and we use all 3 cameras for the ceremony and for the toast. Sometimes some other real-time elements have 3 cameras, but definitely for the ceremony and toast. And I'll go over the different audio sources that we use in a minute. So, okay, looks like we've got, okay. So what's gonna make this a lot easier is having good shooting notes. This can either be for myself for later on, or it can be for team members. If you're a team member, you know that I like to write good notes. For me, this was fairly recently, so I just kind of remember what I did. Normally what I'm doing now is I'm shooting the procession. For weddings particularly, I'm shooting the procession in 60 frames, so I can use it for slow-mo later on if I want. And then I'll switch to 24 frames for the main part of the ceremony, and then for like right before the first kiss, I'll switch back to 60. So right here I have my first 60 frames clip. You can see this procession. Then we've got the ceremony, 23 frame or 24 frames. And then we got that in 60 frames. So I'm going to mark these. Just for right now, I'm going to mark them magenta, just so I can clearly see where they're at, and I'll show you why in a second. Okay, now I'm going to move on to FX3 number 2. Just going to pick a random spot. Trying to find the ceremony. Looks like we got some getting ready. Okay, a bit too far. We're in reception. Okay, that's first look, so it should be coming right up on it. I think this is it right here. Yep, that's it. Make sure we don't have another clip. Okay, that's the formals afterward. Okay, we're gonna mark this magenta. And number 3, FX3 number 3. I think before is that first clip. Yep. We'll go ahead and mark this magenta. Okay. So what I'm going to do now that I know what I have, I'm going to select this, scroll up, hit command or hold command and select this. Now I have both clips selected here. So I'm just going to do that all the way through. So I've got all my cameras selected. And I'm just going to select all this audio. Basically, whatever is going to match is going to get put in its own bin called process bins. And whatever does not get matched will stay in the bin that it's already in. And I'll show you what that means in just a second. So once I have everything selected, I'm just going to right click here, create multicam source sequence. I call it ceremony. It doesn't really matter what it's called. We're not going to use this. We're not going to need this for later on. But what you do want to make sure is that it's hit audio track 1. Move source clips to processed or move source clips to process clips bin. I'll show you what that means in a second, but you just want to make sure it's clicked. You can just leave this on camera 1. Camera names, use clip names. We want to use clip names. Then we'll hit OK. Now it's saying, it's processing, number whatever out of 33. That's because I selected 33 files, so it's got to go through all 33 of those and it's making matches. Okay, so it's saying that we have an audio synchronized failure, which is fine because all that means is that it couldn't match all the audio to video because I selected way more audio clips than we really needed to because I didn't feel like finding out which ones were what because I knew it would do it for me. You can do that with the audio clips, but you really shouldn't do that with video. You should really know what you're matching for video. But you can see that everything that got processed got put into this process clips bin. These are all the audio tracks that it figured out what was what. And because I knew which clips I was going to use for the ceremony, I know it didn't match any other audio to any other video. And you can see we have no more magenta clips in here because they're moved into a different bin. It's kind of helping us organize as we go. As you can see, they're right here. I'm just going to leave that in here and put it in miscellaneous. Now, opening these multicam sequences up is kind of dumb. You can't just double click it in like a normal sequence. It'll bring it up like this. what you need to do is right click and open in timeline. And as you can see, it matched everything up. So it saves us a kind of a big hassle of trying to do all that manually. I'm just going to go through here. I'm not going to use any of this camera audio, so I'm just going to delete it. But you might want to leave it in there if you don't really trust your videographer to have good audio. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out the cut tool by hitting C. I'm going to hit Shift, which means when I make a cut, it's going to make a cut in every single layer as long as it's not locked. I'm just going to find the video that started first. I'm going to start cutting it there. I'm going to cut in, and I'm going to cut the video that ended last. And I just call this, trimming the fat, and just don't need all this extra stuff, right? Because if we don't have video for it, probably don't need it. So what I'm going to do here now is put the video clips in order that makes sense to me. I shoot very methodically, where camera A is always going to be on my Ronin, camera B is always going to be my groom camera, and camera C is always going to be my bride camera. Camera A has a 2875, camera B always has the 85 or the 7200 if we have one, but usually it's the 85, and camera C is going to be my 70-200. So I want my camera B to be on top of camera A, and I'll show you why in a second. And I want camera C to be on top of camera B. And the reason for that is when we put it into multicam, I'm going to change the angles by 1, 2, by hitting 1, 2, and 3 on my keyboard. So I basically just want to map camera A to be number 1, camera B to number 2, and camera C to be number 3. So as we can see here, we've got the bride angle, got the groom angle, and we've got the wide angle. All right. So that is how we get it into multicam. The first part of it anyway. We've got the audio that we can go through. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to focus on the cameras. So as you can see, we shot this in log, S-Log3 to be particular. And I do have a preset for converting log to Rec 709. It's not the Rec 709 that comes in the Premiere file by default. It's a LUT, which I will make sure that you have this. So I just drag and drop here. It's going to convert it from log to Rec 709-ish, or my version of it that I think looks good straight out of camera. So as you can see, now we just converted all of this to basically normal. So I think this looks pretty good already. The bulk of the scene in this camera is on the bride, Julia. So what I'm going to do is color grade it based on how it looks on her. And I'm going to see how it looks. I'm going to see how it looks on everybody else throughout the angle or throughout the ceremony. But I really kind of want to hone in on what it looks like. Yeah, I'm not going to mess around with it too much. Just kind of a quick, yeah, I think that looks nice. Okay, so I'm going to see how it looks here. Looked great on him. Looks great on our saxophone player. Looks like it got brightened up a little bit, but it looks pretty good all the way around. Yeah, all the way around, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm going to go to paste attributes, paste the lumetri color, and it pretty much is close. That is because we shot really intentionally. As we're shooting, we're calling out the white balances to each other so that everything matches. We're using 3 FX3s, so it's all the same camera. So it all pretty much matches already. But I'm going to show you how we match it a little bit further. And actually, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and cut down to where we actually started the ceremony. This one had a little bit of a delay. So I'm going to start it where I remember it actually starting. Yeah, because they started some music, and then they started stopped it abruptly, and then started some other music. So if you're wondering how I did that, All I'm doing, instead of pressing cut, cutting all the layers at once, deleting it, or highlighting it, deleting it, backspacing, basically we're doing all of that in one key, which is Q. This is actually by default on Premiere. If you press Q, it'll do all of those things in one motion. So if I press Q, and we'll cut it there. So the same way that I hit Q, I'm going to hit W, and it's going to get, the same result. Okay. So now that we know what we're working with here, okay. So we're going to learn how to color match. You got to play around with this a little bit each time. Each time is not going to be exactly the same, but we're going to select the clip that we want to change. So this is our standard, this is our clip that we're using as our standard. We want each clip to look pretty much like this. So I'm not going to change this clip. I'm going to click the clip below it, which is the groom angle. And I'm going to come into color wheels and match, hit comparison view. That's going to bring up our reference and our current. The reference is this still from the video that it's using to change the current. So I'll show you what that means in a second. So we want to, I'm going to take that away, and you can see now the reference is whatever's showing here, right? So if I move it back, it's this angle. When I move it back again, it's the next angle. If I move this one over, it's going to be my Ronin angle. So I'm going to come here. This is the entire timeline here, so I just moved it over. I can also do that by just copying the time code, and it'll give me the exact frame. So these frames match. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, on the current references the playhead. So what I'm going to do here, and again, this already looks pretty close, but let's see if we can get it even closer. So I'm referencing this one. I'm looking at this one right now via my playhead, and I'm just going to hit apply match. And what it's going to do is it's going to analyze this image, and it's going to apply some changes to this image to make it look more like this. And it'll do pretty good. I think what I like more so about, I don't like how green it pushed it. I think that actually looks really dang close. So I'm really happy with that result. I'm going to go ahead and extend this back how it was, and I'm going to repeat the process for my Ronin angle. I'm going to hide this one. Actually, no, I need to move this back. Told you this always twists me up. And since I shot in 3 clips, I need to actually, okay, I'm going to use this clip first as my reference. So I want to match this clip to look like this one. So I'm just going to do the same thing. Make sure this clip is selected. Color wheels and match, comparison view, apply match. Let's see what it does. Okay, I'm not really seeing what it did. Okay, now I see it. I like this for the most part. Looks a little bit green still, so I'm going to come up here and add some magenta. Not too much though, because magenta kind of goes crazy. But now you can see how all of these look pretty similar. Okay, and it's really important that we color grade before we get into multicam, and I'll show you why in a second. I'm just gonna take down the, I'm gonna take off the current coloring here. I'm gonna put it back in log, copy the settings from this one by Command C, select these two, paste attributes, and make sure that only the colors selected. And there we go. Now everything matches pretty much. We might make some changes here and there, but honestly, probably not. Okay, so this part is super crucial. I usually forget to do this part, to be honest, so I have to remind myself every time. But you want to make these different colors. So I basically just do it by, instead of RGB, I just use CMY. It's like the print colors. So this will be cerulean or blue, And then we'll have magenta and then yellow. So I'm going to make these, I think it's just iris. And then I think this is already magenta. We'll just double check. Yeah, it's magenta. And we'll make this one yellow. And the reason I do that is, well, I'll show you in a second actually. So I'm gonna, in order to get this into multicam, I'm gonna nest it. I do that, I think my custom button is Shift N, but you can also do that by right clicking and hit nest. And then it doesn't really matter what you call it, but for the sake of this video, we'll call it ceremony. And then we'll go to multi-camera and enable. And then once you hit enable, it'll put it into multicam, but then you have to press this toggle multicam view. Okay, so now we are in the multicam and we can see everything all at once. So we can see here, if we play back, we see we've got the wide, we've got the medium, and we've got the tight. So at any moment, we can now press numbers and the number will cut to that angle. And it's kind of like doing it like live switching, if you've ever messed around with that or ever seen that like sports broadcasting, but we're just doing it after the fact that we've recorded, right? So like right now, oh, well, let me explain this first. So we've got our first 1, 2, 3, 4. If we had, 8 cameras, they'd pop up here. So these are our source and this is our program. So this is like what is actually this is like the actual final video file. So if I come over here, say I want that shot of mom, I can stay on this angle. And then let's say I want to see the groom messing around with his little friend here. I can press 2 and it'll cut to that angle, right? So as you can see, it made a cut. If I play the recording, you can see like currently I'm on this angle here. So let's say here, I want to switch to the tight angle. I'm going to hit 3. Now it is recording the fact that I pressed 3. And when I press space, it'll create a line here, like a cut. So we'll see we're on 2, 3. And now it shows us in the program. So instead of stacking up all 3 angles and sliding them over and doing all this kind of crazy stuff, we can just press numbers and it'll change the angle for us. Right, so we're here, we're going 3. Now we're gonna see, now we don't have to cut to the flower girl because we saw that I moved a little bit quickly. I got a shot of mom's reaction. I'm just gonna scoot back a little bit and hit 1. Got mom's reaction here to the flower girl. Oh, moved a little fast. I'm gonna stop, come back, hit space again, and I'll just cut to him. And then we'll go cut to the flower girl. Boom, got that shot, cool. Going to 2. Now I notice I cut out a little too late. Got some camera jitter right there. I'm gonna come right about here. That's where I'm gonna cut it. Now I could move this around like a normal video, where I just do this and then this, and now I will, it'll make my adjustment there. But what I like to do and what's faster is I'll just go to the spot that I want to cut to and I'll press N. And I don't remember what this tool is called, but it's this thing, the rolling edit tool. And this thing is really cool because if you just select the cut, it will drag both of them over at the same time. And then you don't have to deal with going through multiple tools. Okay. We're gonna get this shot here, press 1. Awesome, got that shot. Cool, we're gonna switch back. But you kind of get the point here. So as you can see, we've made all these cuts already, and really took no effort at all. A lot of the work is really in the setup, but if you do what is hard first, life will be easy. If you do it as easy first, your edit's gonna be hard, and it's probably not gonna be great. So that is how you set up multicam and kind of get that ready to go. what we've done is we've lined up the video and the audio, we've color graded it, color matched it, we've set up the multicam sequence. Now we're going to take a look at the audio.